I'd like to bring this meeting to order of the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, May 2nd, and if we can all please stand and say the pledge, recite the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great. Let's go around and do some introductions. Why don't you start here, Phil, and we'll roll around this way.
Phil Kaiser, south of the Broad.
Bruce Yeager, south of the Broad. I'm north of the Broad right now, but yes, south of the Broad.
Alan Arsenault, south of the Broad.
Mark Rennicks, north of the Broad.
J.L. Hayes, north of the Broad.
Heather Quist, Parks and Rec Administration.
Jeremy Wayne, Marketing Coordinator of Parks and Recreation.
Brian Weiner, Assistant Athletic Manager in Beaufort.
Brock Vaughn, Athletic Supervisor in Beaufort.
Jack Fripp, Rowan, is Superintendent of Parks and Rec.
Antoinette Burnett, Aquatic Manager.
Eric Brown, Parks and Rec.
Marissa Freeman, Program Supervisor for the seniors.
Shane Sager, Assistant Athletics Manager, Southside.
Alex Hunt, Athletics Manager, Beaufort.
Gavin, Park and Rec maintenance, both north and south.
Scott Schnee, Athletics Supervisor in Bluffton. Bob Rosley, Athletic Supervisor, south of the Broad. Darryl Patolo, Athletic Supervisor in Bluffton.
You sure, Derek? All right. Well, great. Welcome, everybody. I'm sure we'll talk about this, but I like the new outfits or
Patches.
jerseys, patches that y'all have on. That's great. Polos. There you go. Thanks, Eric. That's why he's in charge. All right. Can we get someone to make a motion to approve our agenda today?
So moved.
All in favor?
Second.
All right, second. All right. Do we have anyone here for public comment today? Sir, can you please come up, introduce yourself, and limit your remarks to 3 minutes?
Got you.
All
My
right.
name is Anthony Jones. I'm a resident of St. Helena Island
Yes, sir.
here in Beaufort County. First thing, as you look around the room, my first comment is dealing with why is the meeting at this time of day? Most of the folks who can attend the meeting are working. Fortunately for myself, the reason why I'm here is because I'm retired twice. Seem like you want to get input from the folks that can make suggestions. Should have it at a time when people can attend. Second thing, I'm here to put in a bid that whatever y'all do, we are in need on St. Helena. We're in need of facility that not only that's comparable to facilities that you have on the south of the Broad, we need it up here. We got young folks that need support, need help, and we need your help in providing those services. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones.
Thank you.
All right. We obviously can talk about meeting times at a future date, but I've been on this board for quite some time, and this has been the meeting time that has been historically. I think what we'll find is that regardless of when the meeting is out there, we're going to have trouble with certain people in attendance. So I don't know specifically why it was at this time, but I think a lot of times when we have the interaction with our employees and they're making reports, things of that nature, it's typically on company time, so to speak, which for most of it is during the day. So we can talk about that.
If I may.
Go right ahead.
Yes. However, I think it will be something that we should look at. It was definitely put on the agenda for an upcoming meeting to discuss, because what, from what our residents said is, if most of the folks who are here are working here, it's very easy for us to be able to come to the meeting. But the ones who are needing the help, they're working at this time. So I think it would be, I think it would be something worth exploring to try and have a meeting that would be a 5:30 or 6 o'clock meeting that we could, we could still do it here, but I think it would be worth exploring.
No, I don't disagree that we can explore alternate meeting times. We'll get with Eric, see what Eric thinks about that, and, it could be, a number of meetings each year could be held at a certain time.
Yes.
So, do you have any comment on that, Eric?
Yeah, I do. Good afternoon, everybody. So,
Good afternoon.
basically, historically, meetings of this magnitude are held the way they're held. In the future, not tomorrow, but in the future, we'll have staff persons that will go to civic meetings and give the same update we give here, so that the residents will still be able to get the information that will be given at this meeting. So we're looking at some future things that we'll make sure that when we have civic meetings in whatever area, whomever's in that area, they'll go and give an update on what's happening in that area. And that's typically how it's done in the recreation world, where we attend civic meetings and we give an update. I attended a meeting in St. Helena maybe 2 weeks ago, and we gave an update on some of the things that we want to see different in every neighborhood. So those are some of the things that we're looking at changing and looking at doing in the future.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Are you all meeting monthly now?
No.
We meet every other month,
Or every other month?
yes.
Maybe it should be monthly. Some people say.
We have a public comment. You'd like to come up, sir?
Yeah, if you, certainly, come on up and,
I had to put a note on my door to come over here, so I certainly can wait till people are working. And, I know people want facilities, maybe they want different.
can you please come up here and identify yourself, sir?
Joe Mack, Beaufort, just say
Joe?
Mac, M-A-C. So some people want different, some people want facilities, depends who you ask. Some people saying you're not doing enough, but I'm not here to criticize anybody. I know it's not an easy job. I'm just here to thank you, and I thought you were back to monthly. I know so that makes sense, because there was a time you were meeting every other month.
Yeah,
And-
so really, I think the schedule only became impacted during COVID, but the legislation has us meeting every other month. So I think we meet bi-monthly, every second
The
month.
legislate, the what?
Yeah, well, we are a board that is put together by legislation that's in the county, and the purpose of this board is outlining that legislation. So when you look at our website, that enabling legislation and what the purpose of the board is outlined on the website. So we have certain functions. We are not the board that decides the capital expenditures for recreation in Beaufort County. That's the Beaufort County Council. So our role, I think, might be somewhat different than what Mr. Jones thinks that our role is. So,
Well, like I say, you can always, y'all are free to do what you want. I wouldn't be so hung up on a ordinance or something like that, but I appreciate your points for bringing that up. There's a lot of things I don't know, but well, I will say this: there was some comments online recently over there in Bluffton, and some of the comments were basically they were cheated out of sports complexes for youth because they're going out of town and seeing things elsewhere. And they think they were cheated in Bluffton. Come over to Beaufort. I'll show you some pretty views, and I'll show you cheated. Okay. So I'm just letting y'all know. Thank you.
okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Mack, thank you. All right, review and approval of the March minutes. Has everybody had a chance to take a look at those? Yes. Did Eric, did we come to a agreement with Mike Chambers and the pickleball group?
Yes.
We did. Okay, good. All right.
All right. So move that
Does
we
anyone
accept
have
the-
any changes of the minutes from the last meeting?
Move to accept the minutes as presented.
Okay. Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, passed. All right. Department reports.
Don't be shy.
So we are in the middle of spring sports in Beaufort. Obviously, you can see all of our numbers went up. Super happy about that. They went up by a pretty good amount. Just growing programs, going strong. Like I said, we're wrapping those up, and we're getting to some postseason, regular season tournaments for all of our youth sports, and then we got some upcoming leagues as well. Those just opened. A lot of those adult sports just opened yesterday, so we're not going to have great numbers on those yet. And then basketball, still got a little time on that, so hoping that comes up a little bit. And I've got a meeting scheduled for next week with Battery Creek's head basketball coach because he reached out to us in regard to helping us grow our basketball program at Burton Wells. So going to meet with him next week and see if we can bounce some ideas off of each other and see what we can do to kind of gauge a little more interest and grow our basketball program in Beaufort.
What's the ages of the basketball program for the summer?
For summer, it goes from 7 to 16. Yeah.
Okay. And summer basketball has been relatively recent, right? Hasn't it been the last few years, maybe 3 or 4
I'm not
years?
sure. I've been here for coming up on 2 years now, and we've run it every single summer that I've been here, so this will be my third summer basketball season here. But I do believe it was something that was implemented relatively newer as far as youth sports go.
Right, right. And that's good in the summer because as Mr. Jones had said, a lot of youth don't have a lot to do in the summer.
Yep.
So being in the gym is pretty good.
So
Okay.
that and our 13 to 15-year-old baseball and softball leagues are the main ones that we have running over the summer. So, for youth. And then we have our other adult. We're going to try and start a men's slow pitch softball league, and then we're doing a kickball league, which we ran in the winter, and it ran pretty well, so we're going to do that again this summer and see how that goes.
Good, all right.
All right. Similarly for the south side, most of our numbers are up. Saw a little bit of a dip in our Dixie boys. Don't have a really good understanding why. Potentially losing some folks to travel ball. But overall, the other programs all growing fairly well. So we've basically finished our baseball, softball seasons. As Alex said, we're in our tournament season and then prepping for some of our tournaments, which we'll speak to a little bit later. Soccer and flag football are about halfway through, going well so far, not too much affected by the rain or the weather. And our lacrosse league just finished up. Lacrosse league is growing. In fact, we're looking to parlay that into a camp this summer to kind of keep that momentum and catch some other folks. And then we've got our spring softball, senior softball, and adult softball underway for a couple weeks now.
Why was senior softball down so much?
So there was a little bit of a coup, we'll call it a coup, a couple seasons ago where 5 of the teams, we'll call them the original 5 senior softball teams, wanted some fairly significant changes to the rules, which we offered to accommodate about 75% of what they wanted. Wasn't good enough, so they took their league to Hilton Head Island. And they have, this is their second season sticking on Hilton Head Island. So we managed to kind of keep the league together with 3, we'll call them legacy teams, and then scramble together to get a 4th team this year. So we got some new blood, which is good, but it was, like I said, a little bit of a coup on that.
So would you anticipate that getting back to the level it was before, just with new people coming into the area, or what?
So my hope, honestly, is that those folks return to us. We've tried to keep the communication lines open, and they've kind of settled on what I would consider a lesser product. Right now, they have no umpires. They line the fields themselves. They drag the fields themselves, and it's all on Hilton Head. So the hope is that they see the light and the services that we provide are a higher quality and decide to come back.
Where are they playing on the island?
Barker.
Barker?
Yeah.
And that's maintained by us, but it's
No, so we gave that back to Hilton Head
the
in
town.
November-ish.
Okay.
They're doing most of their own maintenance. We maintain our own fields, or maintain those fields for our games that we have out on the island for the adults, but they have to maintain it for their senior league.
Gotcha.
Okay, a question for Beaufort. We've had an increase, a huge increase in soccer. Looking at where we were last year to this year, it looks like we're going to continue to grow. Have you all looked at are there any other fields that can be used for practices? I know all games will be played at Burton Wells.
Yeah, so like you said, all of the games are at Burton Wells.
Yes, sir.
So that's the facility that is most conducive for games.
Right.
But I am looking at we experimented a little bit this season with practicing at some of those auxiliary fields.
Right.
And I think it worked pretty well, but it does get a little tough sometimes because those are available for baseball, softball, and soccer practices as well. So I'm kind of trying to figure out the balance of being able to schedule those fields for practices moving forward.
My second question to that, looking at the continued growth in Beaufort, is it possible to have a partnership with the Beaufort County Schools to use some of those either elementary fields or middle school fields? I think that would be okay, thank you for Mr.
They use our fields.
So we're right in the middle of signing an agreement with the school board.
Fantastic.
And so we'll have shared usage. So we'll use their fields during their off-peak time, and they can also do the same with us. So the agreement isn't finalized yet. We met last week over Zoom, and I'm scheduling a meeting now to meet with one of the athletic directors so that we can finalize the agreement, get it signed by council and by their people at the school board, and then we'll have shared usage for those fields.
Okay, and full disclosure, my children participate and happily in Beaufort County Rec, and so my son is one of the ones he only plays games because there's just not enough fields.
Sure.
I'm
I
just
mean,
looking-
fields
yes.
have often always are issues.
Right.
So,
Which is it's a good problem to have. I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, the growth that's continuing and it's going to keep growing. So I'm just looking ahead that if there's anything that we can do to help you continue with a successful program.
Are you working with Carlos? Is Carlos part of that discussion?
Carlos is who I'll be calling this afternoon to schedule the meeting to finalize some questions we had about the agreement. And once the agreement has been finalized and legal has signed off on it, it'll come to for the signatures, and then we'll have a match made only in heaven for
Yes.
for sports. And
Well,
and that sort of
what I
thing.
want to do right now is commend you for that, because Carlos is a board member of this board, and he and I have talked over time, and especially just recently when in the interim when we were searching for a new director and found you, obviously. But there has been kind of this Chinese wall between the school board and Parks and Rec. And so we do have facilities in various areas. As Mr. Jones was bringing up, we have facilities over on St. Helena too that possibly can bridge that gap at least until resources are available to do, some of the things that he would like us to do over there.
Right.
So I commend you on having that dialogue open, because it's terrible when you drive around on a Saturday and all of the gates around the schools are locked, and the fields are there, and kids don't have places to play, so.
And we
thank you
service
for
some
that.
of the same children, so when they're out of school, they come to the rec centers, and so why not use a field, you know, where you're in school and vice versa. So we'll work it out and we'll get that done sooner than later.
Thank you.
I got a question. You know, years past, we used to use Wesley Felix, and we used to use Corson Tate. We used to play games out there. Until recently, in the last 4 or 5 years, we decided to have everything at Burton Wells. Why are we not using Corson Tate and using Wesley Felix to play games on, where the kids from St. Helena don't have to travel all the way into Beaufort? It'd make it easier for some people.
Is it parking?
Those guys probably wouldn't know anything about it, but.
So that is something that I don't think any of us are really opposed to trying to get into that, but as it is right now, with all the sports that we have running at the same time, we run into, first off, a staffing issue to make sure that we have someone in our staff on site for that. And then also, I mean, as it is right now, Corson Tate is not game ready. There's no outfield fence out there for baseball, softball games.
Well, they used to bring a temporary fence and put it in.
Right. And then Wesley Felix is probably one of our facilities that is most ready for games. Ladies Island Middle School actually used it for baseball and softball this past season. They've been using it for the past couple of seasons for their games. But we also run into an issue of splitting teams, because we try and split teams up as evenly as possible based on the skill level of the kids, because we like to have a competitive season. So, you know, if you have a handful of kids from St. Helena that are going to create a team, right? Because if we're talking about keeping teams more regionally and having games out there, then we could potentially run into an issue of splitting the skill level unevenly.
Yeah, they used to do that years ago. They used to have 3 different districts.
Right.
But I'm not saying that you need to have a team from St. Helena, a team from Ladies Island. I'm just saying play games out there at St. Helena and play games at Ladies Island, so the people that live in those areas will have games in their neighborhood, not always having to come to Burton Wells.
Well, I mean, that's something that we can definitely explore and look into as well.
Let me add, since you mentioned staffing, would you be open, be open to parent volunteers who go through, much like what we have to go through the testing, go through checks?
Yes.
To become, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that there would be any problem with that. Big thing is, you know, as long as they can pass a background check, we would have to be able to do that and have the documentation behind that and everything.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I think as far as that goes, as long as they go through the proper process, then
Yes.
yeah.
Because my also thought was, I've heard from some of my parents on Ladies Island and St. Helena, you've got the school there for basketball, and that would be a great place to have games there, plus down at Scott. But like I told them, we all have to, we got to come together. We've got to get involved. So if we can get the parents involved, we can get them to come out and do what they need to do, necessary paperwork or whatever has to be done to become part of your volunteer staff and be a solid volunteer staffer, then we surely can build up that program.
Yeah.
Continue to build a program, have places to go.
Yeah, I think to wrap up this portion of it,
Yes.
I'm guessing that Eric is doing an evaluation of all of our fields and resources and the best way to bring the athletics to and utilize those resources. So that's probably something better left for you and your staff to report back to us on. And if you could do that at our next meeting, that would be great. Okay.
So great job, by the way, on the increase.
Anybody have any questions for our athletic supervisors?
That's all right, I'm not gonna.
Yes.
Real quickly through this slide, our adult sports they'll start registration June 1st, and our basketball, we've been open, and according to this date last year, we're up 30 participants, so expect that number to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a pretty significant program.
Yes, so our summer basketball is much smaller than our winter basketball.
Right.
And we definitely had some space challenges with our winter basketball this year. But yeah, we're seeing some good growth over the summer.
Is summer basketball strictly in the evening?
Yes.
And
Yeah, no Saturdays. Well, hopefully no Saturdays, but
Right.
depending on those numbers.
Okay, good. All right. Any other questions?
Yep. Okay, I was gonna say, yep, we've got a couple of tournaments coming up in June, as you can see on the slide, and then we've got clearly the big World Series, kind of doing the logistics at this point towards the end of July.
And is the Dixie boys and junior boys, is that in Beaufort and Bluffton, or
That would be strictly Beaufort.
strictly in Beaufort?
Yeah.
Okay,
for
good.
most.
Great. Who has, I believe that our former director was a representative in, for,
She's still the state director for Dixie Boys.
okay, all right, good. All right, 3 tournaments, so that's great.
I think it's actually more than that, because we're hosting softball.
Oh,
Those
okay.
age groups are applicable for softball on that last slide as
Gotcha.
well. So in Bluffton, I think they're doing 6U softball, and in Beaufort, I know for a fact we're doing 12U softball as well. So technically, those are different tournaments, but.
Gotcha.
Then one more. And then summer camp updates. Last time I presented, we were fairly low in the Bluffton, so we have significantly increased. We're nearing max capacity on the Bluffton south side. North side is lagging behind. I've talked to some folks that are planning on getting registered, but we're just kind of monitoring those numbers and kind of reevaluating our camp program this year.
One of the other things I know, that the communication between the school and Parks and Rec, years ago, we could put flyers and book bags and things, and then they went to a different software system, so we couldn't do that. So obviously, if you're having agreements with the school, having some communication open between us for these programs, I would think would pay big dividends.
Yes.
Questions?
Any questions? Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. Senior program updates. Some of the pictures that you see up there are from our spring fling that we just did. Yesterday kicked off Senior Appreciation Month. So every center had a big lunch at their center, and then had a good round of bingo, their favorite thing to do. And upcoming, we are planning for our July get-together, and it grows every day. So we're on a wait list for almost 4 out of the 8 centers we have.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
so it's growing. Any questions? Nope.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, so for the pools, for Battery Creek's the same hours that we've been doing Monday through Friday, and then Saturdays as well. I don't know if you guys realize we moved the inflatables to the first Saturday of every single month. That actually has worked out better, especially for the lap swimmers. They like the fact that they can swim on Saturdays, all the other Saturdays throughout the month. For school swim lessons, they're done at that pool for the school year. And then we also have our fins and our scuba class that's going on right now. The fins are Tuesdays and Thursdays, and the scuba, it's on demand. The numbers, the check-ins, actually came down a little bit from the last time, because last time I was here, we had the ISR program, the infant swim lesson program. That is actually done now, so this is just strictly just regular people coming in and out of the pool. So for our Beaufort pool, same hours, Monday through Friday, and then Saturdays as well. We have our school swim lessons going on right now, 9 to 1, and then that is Monday through Thursdays. And we are still open to the public during the swim lesson time frame. We have our water aerobics Mondays and Wednesdays. That has increased a lot during that time frame. Then we have our Fins program as well, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And then the same thing for our check-in. It came down a little bit because of the ISR program that completed already. For our Bluffton pool, same hours as well, 8 to 1, 2 to 7, and Saturdays. Our school swim lessons, they finished for this school year as well. We have our water aerobics, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, our deep water aerobics, Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then our Fins program as well. The check-in pretty much has kind of stayed the same. They did not have the ISR program at that pool itself. June 3rd is the day that we are closing that pool for the construction that's supposed to be going on at the Bluffton pool.
Are the, have we made notice to the public and the Finns that we're closing then already?
Yes, we have informed all the programs that are going on at that pool that the pool is going to be closing.
And do we have any idea how long it's gonna be closed?
From what they had informed me, it should be about a 6 to 8 month project.
Have you had any blowback from that?
As of right now, no. The only one that I'm concerned about, it'll occur.
10 to 12 month project, okay, all right.
The only thing that I feel like will be a little bit of a problem is the school swim lessons, because we pretty much cannot schedule anything until after we reopen. So we won't get all the Bluffton schools in for next school year.
Okay.
So. And then our outdoor pool, the Alvin Settles pool, that one, we are hoping to have that open on May 25th, 11 to 7. That's Memorial Day weekend, that Saturday. The hours will be Tuesday through Friday, 11 to 7. Saturdays, 10 to 11 for Boga. We're going to try Boga at that specific pool to see if it's a different outcome. And then Saturday for the rest of the day is 11 to 7. And then Sunday, 1 to 7, closed on Mondays and open on the holidays.
Good.
Any question for the pool so far?
How are you going with staff?
We need some staff. We have had some people apply for our seasonal positions. We are just waiting to get them through HR and everything. Our classes that we offer the year-round swim lessons, private and group swim lessons. That is pretty much a month-by-month session. Then we have our stroke improvement. That's for adults. We do have a few adults that come for the stroke improvement, but a lot of them rather do it all on their own. And then we have our CPR and our lifeguarding classes by appointments as well. Any questions for the pools?
No, good luck with that Bluffton pool being closed, 8 to 12 months.
I do have one question for seniors, please. It was brought to my attention by one of my residents about buses. Can you give us an update or let us, I'm sorry, is that you, sir?
Yeah,
Okay, thank you very much. Look, he tagged you out.
So I'll start with that because that's a part of my update. So,
Okay.
council approved an extra 36 passenger bus. So we have 5 new vehicles coming to our senior program soon. We don't have an exact date for those, but they'll be on order. And we want to make sure that our seniors are safe, and we had some issues with a few breakdowns, and we're rectifying that. Just to give you guys an update on the community involvement and the assessments that has taken place to this far. I'm at community meetings every week, and so St. Helena was my first one, and they were given some information on our next steps and what we plan on doing as far as recreation, as far as staffing and programming, facilities, and all those type of things. We all understand that this is not the council meeting. This is Parks and Recreation Planning Advisory. We advise and we plan. And so therefore, the update on that is we are out doing assessments, and we've already started the work at a few community centers. And once that work has started, like Scott Park will be getting a new playground. Dale, Booker T. Washington, Agnes, they'll be getting new furniture out in the fields. A few of them are getting a new site. And so once those projects are on the board, we'll put them up at our next meeting or at our meeting when they're on the board, and we'll actually give you guys a breakdown on what's actually happening there. And I understand everybody's anticipation or anger or whatever the case may be about what we don't have or didn't have, but we are out educating our residents on what a Buck Walter entails of opposed to what a Booker T. Washington entails of. We can take Booker T. Washington and put it in one of the parking lots of one of the facilities. So of course you couldn't put that facility there. So education is the key when we're dealing with our residents and making sure that we're gonna put something at all of our facilities based on what's there now and what we can do. But programming is huge with us, and we will make sure that we are programming at all of our sites. Now, with that being said, fun stuff. On May the 23rd, we will have our first Parks and Recreation retreat. And at this retreat, we're gonna break out some new Parks and Rec policies, and one of them are gonna be Come Rise With Us. And that RISE is just an acronym for respect, integrity with the standard of excellence. So we're excited about our lead staff at this retreat that we're gonna be having on the 23rd, and we'll be breaking out some other adventurous things in the parks world, and having some fun. Food, fun, and fellowship is what we're gonna call it. Write that down. And I like how that just flowed just then. Food, fellowship, and fun. So we're gonna have some fun as we plan how we're gonna tackle the rest of the year and beyond. Because our fiscal year starts July 1st, so May 23rd, we're gonna tackle how we're gonna plan out our new fiscal year. And so we'll map it out, and we'll come back to you guys with the wonderful things that will be happening in the world of Parks and Recreation. And I know there's at least one question.
Yes. So when do we get the invitation? Where are we gonna have this retreat?
No, just Parks and Rec staff. Write that down, write that down, write it down. I was a football coach, and we had closed practices because when the parents come, they influence the kids. So we're gonna make sure the parents
Really?
Be there.
Does that happen? Are you sure?
How you doing, sir? Quiet today. No questions?
I just did a stress test this morning.
Oh, okay. Just all right.
All of his stress has
Yeah,
left his
yeah.
body.
All right, we'll keep it cool.
Yeah.
And so the last thing I have is that I don't want to mix, and you guys run the meeting, but I don't want to mix community issues as far as buildings and all that with this meeting.
Right.
And I respect the residents that want to come to this meeting and stress that, but we're available to go out to their meetings to give the information that that's not what this meeting is about. So.
Right, and in the funding mechanisms that we have for capital improvements, everything else, that's in the budget. That's at a different level than what we're doing here.
Right.
So
we'll stress that.
I really don't. Well, I do have a question for you. How's it going?
It's going great. Look, I have some great staff. I tell you, these are a bunch of. I landed in. Can I say heaven again? I landed in heaven. I'm telling you, I have some great staff. So I'm excited, and I'm excited about where we're headed.
Well, I just want to make an observation. You're definitely exuding positivity.
Thank you.
And pretty excited about your energy.
Thank you.
And like I said last time, we're happy that you're here. So, does anybody have any other questions? Thank you so much.
You're getting off easy today.
That's hey. Thank you, guys.
All right. Our next meeting is July 11th. Joe left, so he didn't hear that. I do want to make one other comment. We do have, we're still trying to get the military component of this. Find someone to sit on the board for that. Heather's working on that. And we do have one opening, and we have 2 resumes here, and that Heather's provided. So hopefully between now and the next board meeting, we can have that reviewed and then make a determination whoever is going to put them up for appointment in the county, because it goes through the county council, I believe. Right, so that'll be good. And as Phil noted, next time, it would be good if we had a woman, and I think they're both women that have applied. So that's a good thing. So do we have any other comments for the good of the cause? Come on, Janae. No? Okay.
I had a double header last night. I am done.
Okay, all right. So with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I motion that we adjourn.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you all for being here, and thank you for the work that you do every day.